Origin: I often receive a lot of messages for help in my WeChat and email. Some are short questions, and some are long and bumpy experiences. Due to limited time and energy, it is often impossible to reply in detail one by one. What is more, I hope readers will read my past articles carefully. Many practices, tips and precious practices have been scattered in various articles. Because I often read the sutras, I often focus on the classics and look up to the Buddha. For the problem of practice or modern people, I cut into it from the perspective of practice and reality. However, the height of the classics is difficult to reach today as people as blessings and thin careers. So in this real world, how to practice the law as much as possible, obtain the law verification, self-interest, altruism, and self-deprement. This is what I pay attention to. Yesterday, a senior left me a message: "Hello, brother. I'm from Guangxi. By chance, I have been lucky enough to be exposed to Buddhism for more than 3 years. I have always recited the 6-character Ming mantra, the Heart Sutra, the immovable Buddha as Heart mantra, the quasi-ti mantra, and the 100-character Ming. Maybe my karma is deep. Since I learned Buddhism, I have been constantly violating the fate. The loss has been millions of yuan in the past few years. The main reason is that I was careless to make friends, especially since April last year. The county procuratorate intervened to investigate some projects I did a few years ago. And I almost went to prison. Although the situation has improved, the future is still uncertain, and a lot of money has been spent on refunds and so on. I want to ask the teacher, firstly, to ask the senior brother for guidance. Is it my homework problem? Secondly, I want to ask the senior brother Miaxin. Could you please ask the senior brother Miaxin to take a look?" I said, "After learning Buddhism, there are constant violations of fate. From the point of view of secular truth, it is indeed a deep karma obstacle. For those who practice centrifugal and bodhisattva, disobedation and obstacles are the best food. It is a dojo for the cultivation of the heart. Therefore, some teachings are to take the adversity after learning the Buddha as the blessing and display of the Buddha and bodhisattva. There is also a saying that serious crimes are under attribution, and big things become small, and small things become small. But when I received a lot of letters, most of which mentioned that I had practiced for many years and were at a loss, and even had many obstacles. It was not only a problem of karma, but also a matter of practice methods and order. I came into contact with the 6-character Ming spell earlier. As early as when I was in primary and secondary school, I encountered this spell. I also often recite it. At that time, I found that this mantra was very helpful to the spirit. After reciting it, I slept less and became energetic. I have recited so much that in my sleep and in a critical moment, I blurred out the 6-character Ming mantra. Even though I practiced other methods later, I still instinctively recited this spell in a hurry. After coming into contact with the Tibetan mission, the practice of 4-armed guanyin is relatively common, and I have a fate with guanyin in the world. Before receiving this initiation, a white jade image appeared in his heart when sitting quietly, which was placed on the table. The Heart Sutra prefers to grow memory and wisdom. The revelation mantra behind the Heart Sutra is independently a mantra in prajna, and reciting can increase the wisdom of hearing. The immovable Buddha as heart spell can destroy the extremely important evil karma. The immovable Buddha has the title of the King of Transcendence in Tibet. Seeing the senior brother of the Lake Heart Pavilion looking at the snow guest section, it is often recommended that those who have nightmares recite this spell, which is often effective. 100-character clear, repentance of karma, is a very famous mantra in the Tibetan system, and Tangmi also has it. Of course, the inheritance of different Tibetan places is slightly different, and each has its own profound interpretation. When it comes to the quasi-promotion spell, although the quasi-promotion method has been greatly promoted in recent years, and the number of people hold it, it lacks the guidance of the true biography, or many people do not know the order, and the foundation is unstable. What I have seen is that there are not many well repaired. Some people recite spells up to tens of millions. In reality, there are still all kinds of obstacles, and the effect is not obvious. Some of them are possessed or something. What should I do? For example, a mother was introduced last time and wanted to find a wonderful brother. Because her daughter learned to lift the spell in Momo, but there were mania, nonsense, inability to take care of herself and other possession phenomena, she was very distressed. How did a good person become like this? The spell is very impressive. The key is how to practice it and how to respond. And in the mantra, the blessing power of the Dharma flow, that is, whether you are connected to the pure Dharma flow of the Buddha Mother, or corresponds to the passing ghosts, directly determines the effectiveness and height of your practice. Sometimes I find that some people have been practicing for a long time, but they still can be transshipped, which is extremely scarce. That is, in his own destiny system, the power of cultivation is very weak. If a powerful magic flow can be connected, real problems can be solved quickly. Let us talk about the experience of the female resident who founded the DT in Jingxi in Bama, Guangxi in the past 2 days. She recited the short mantra of the firm and Rudi 100,000 times. I had 2 dreams, one of which was to take her to see one of her reasons in the dream of the god of the earth, which was very clear and real, vivid and consistent with reality. The other one is to tell her in a dream, I'll give you some money. So in reality, her income is tripled and she has an extra income of 100,000 yuan. From the inside, we hold the spell corresponding to the earth and the sky. From the outside, it is the earth and the sky that receive the blessing of the walker. It is similar to accepting, printing and accepting this person, who is willing to help him in the future and satisfy all his wishes. From this point of view, absorption is the key. No matter how many times you recite it, millions, or tens of millions of times, you can get the blessing of the earth and heaven, which is the key, regardless of the amount. When I first heard this induction, I was deeply surprised. Due to the fate of the world, she also determined to establish the earth and heavenly essence house to support the monks, which is in line with the wish of the earth and heaven. Establishing a dojo is also the wish of the old monk Shiyin. So that she once dreamed that Mr. Su told her where to choose the site. These 2 dreams can be described as the verification phase, connecting the flow of the earth and the sky, and receiving and blessing from the earth and heaven. If she cultivates the earth and the sky on this basis, her power will be incredible. I have done Jianlaodi divine fire offering before. Because I was not refined at that time, I did not recite the Jianlaodi divine long mantra 100,000 times, and I directly made fire offerings without reciting it. It's amazing to find that it's also effective. But in the article, I suggest reading it 100,000 times. Recently, some seniors have directly done earth and sky protection according to the steps in my blog, and found that the effect was not obvious. I even rethink the basic problem of magic power and magic flow. Back to the question, the monk, the Dharma merits of the Dharma he practiced, prefers to be born or wrest the Dharma, but he can't wrest the disaster. And the quasi-ti is also not good at cultivation. Unable to give up the disaster, it presented such a tortuous life trajectory. I have discussed in previous articles that different natures and spells have no highs and lows, but their legal merits and causes are easy to correspond and difficult to correspond. The types and levels of protection of spells are also different. This is an inevitable phenomenon in the world. For example, the Great Compassion Mantra and the Medicine Master Mantra are essentially the same. They are also the revelation of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, which have all the merits. But in terms of fate, the Sanskrit sound of the mantra is based on the meaning. If Indians are asked to recite the mantra, they will not know what it means like us, but know its meaning. The Great Compassion Mantra belongs to the Lotus Department, and the Pharmacist Mantra belongs to the Buddha Department. Excerpt from the Great Sorrow. The mantra contains the following secret meanings: Sarva Bandhana Kedana Karaya, all forbidden, broken, can order Sarva Bhava Samudro Choe Karaya. 1 and 3 have C. Exhaustion can make Sarva by Adi Pra Shamana Karaya, all diseases can be eradicated. Sarva Uupa Drava Leo Nizana Karaya, everything like this, disaster, destruction, can make Sarva Bayok Tra Karaya, and everything, fear, rescue, can make. And the pharmacist as spell, at first, was the Sanskrit sound of the conversion to the pharmacist Liliguang Buddha, and the heart spell was medicine, medicine, medicine birth. From this, we can know that different spells contain the great vows of the Lord. Therefore, observing the induction experience of those who recite the Great Compassion Mantra in ancient and modern times is corresponding to its mantras. Break the 3, get rid of diseases, eliminate disasters. It shows the great mercy and compassion of Guanyin Bodhisattva, saving suffering and disaster. The Medicine Master Buddha as heart spell, taking medicine as a spell, is the original wish of the world. When we practice, we keep reciting mantras. Language will gradually be integrated with the original wishes of Buddha and Bodhisattva. And their wish power will penetrate into our lives and appear in life to remove the corresponding fate trajectory. This is the secret of the legal world. In the universal sage learning mentioned by Guanyin Bodhisattva, there is a mantra that makes me rich and life expectancy. So Guanyin Bodhisattva also mentioned this rich merit and virtue benefits when proclaiming this mantra. And this spell can also make people enter all kinds of samadhi. In its spell, it contains the meaning of making the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body and mind disappear. When teaching spells, they are proficient in the interpretation of mantras. Although there are many meanings, its legal merits are clear. Last time, Brother Luo translated all the Sanskrit sounds of Guanyin Bodhisattva's 108 names in the Guanyin Bodhisattva's 108 Ming Sutra, which is very subtle and incredible. Having talked so much, I mainly mentioned a few points: the vow of the Lord, the type and level of the law of the Lord, the corresponding difficulty and the flow of the Dharma. So where are the ideas to solve real problems? I will explain further later. Another message from a resident yesterday: hello, brother. After reading the article published by you, I have doubts and beg for your help. My family has been very unlucky in recent years. In the past, I didn't have to worry about food and clothing, but my family invested the year before last and was cheated out of almost all my savings. It also caused heavy losses to relatives and friends. In the past 2 years, my family has been in poor health, and the medicine has not been left in my hand. My work is also intermittent, my income is unstable, and my marriage is late, because I don't have a good relationship with my parents. Before, a master who looked at feng shui said that my feng shui was not good, and I was going to break my fortune. I was sick. My bad marriage was also related to feng shui, so I was asked to move. I was scared when I heard it, but I was powerless to solve it. Very desperate. My family doesn't believe in these things, nor do they believe in Buddhism. I came into contact with Buddhism 3 years ago, and my family offered the 3 Western saints and a Maitreya Buddha. I usually recite Buddha's words, recite Metta Sutras and so on. I have also read, recited and copied the Sangha Sutra before, but nothing has changed. I saw on the internet and tried to eat several times, but I don't know if it stopped according to the law. I want to know if such a bad thing happened at home has something to do with my diet. I have seen the Dizang Bodhisattva and Earth Heaven cultivation method you introduced, as well as other cultivation methods. Which one is suitable for me? What can I do to change the status quo? I hope you can help me. Looking forward to your reply, Amitabha Buddha. I said, the first is the problem of cause and effect. If you are deceived in this life, you must have cheated in a certain life. The specific practice, the Western 3 saints offer together, recite the Buddha, and the Metta Sutra, prefer to leave. Of course, there is also a blessing to the world, depending on how you cultivate it. Like all kinds of troubles and disasters in the world, Master Guang suggested reading Guanyin. But if it corresponds to Metta, it can also complete all the laws in the world. Then there is a message like this, Message 1, hello, brother. If you have any questions, please ask. I hope you have time to guide me at the end of the study. I converted to Tibetan Buddhism. At present, I study together online with my seniors across the country every week. At ordinary times, I also participate in the monthly Lotus Master's offering in the local dojo. I practice together, and I also practice 5 times before the practice. My daily routine is the Great Sorrow Mantra 5 times, the Heart Sutra 3 times, the Buddha said the Great Rei Baozhu Moment Nyoking Guardian God Mantra once, the Langyan Mantra 3 times, and the Mahayana character Pugwai Mingzong Sutra 5 times. I have also read the Jizang Sutra, the Vajradhara Sutra, and copied the Sangha Sutra before, but I have always felt that I have not found a suitable way for me. Message R. I have been learning Buddhism for a long time, but many things still haven't improved. Can you ask Brother Miaoshin to help me see if it's not fate? Thank you. Amitabha Buddha. King Guangxi, there are often many seniors who have practiced a lot of methods, and there is no way to start later. To some extent, this is also a matter of not being transferred, but being transferred. If you can change the law, you will be changed by the law. It is not a problem to practice many dharmas. The ancient ancestors practiced many dharmas, but they have made great achievements. But it is difficult for today's people to respond. The above seniors, Green Mother, Big Sad Mantra, Heart Sutra, Nyoang Sutra, Lingyan Mantra, Mahayana character Puguang Tibetan Sutra 5 times, Jizang Sutra, Vajradhara Sutra, Sangha Sutra. How to practice? The general order of practice can be blessing wise, self-protection, rest method increase method, rest method holding method. Green Mother is the incarnation or family of Guanyin Bodhisattva, so it can be placed behind Guanyin Bodhisattva's homework. Nyoang Zhutian belongs to the protection of the Dharma and is placed behind the Bodhisattva Dharma gate. The Langyan Mantra is said to be the Buddha's top, which can be put in the front. If it is used to remove obstacles, it can be recited at the end. This is all right. The key is to be consistent, and there is a step before and after, and you can understand the reason for practice. If you can finish the Guanyin method, then practice the family Green Mother method, and then practice the heavenly protection method. It is the great compassion mantra, the Heart Sutra, the Green Mother, the great auspicious goddess. Or according to the stage of blessing and wisdom, accumulate blessings and reward capital and food first. When reciting, recite the Dizang Sutra first, and then recite the Vajradhara Sutra. In ordinary practice, you can recite it from the order of Buddha, Bodhisattva and Dharma protection. In the face of the common problem of many people nowadays, the family's financial fortune is not good. Suggest that we can return separately according to the order of interest increase. For example, the problem of the monk at the beginning, or all kinds of obstacles in ordinary people's families, the first thing to do is to practice the law. The method of interest is to overdo and eliminate all kinds of disasters. How to repair it? First, think about whether there are any relatives at home who have not been released. The baby spirit of abortion. Are you worried? Non-human interference at home. I find that non-human interference is a problem that cannot be ignored. In some families, children are rebellious and extreme, which is often related to abortion. Bert Hellinger's family system psychology is based on the view that a child has been aborted, and in order to maintain the integrity of the system, the conscience of the system will select the child born later to replace the aborted child to remind parents to recognize the existence of this invisible child. Therefore, children will have many radical thoughts about disaborting, as if a child is retaliating against his parents. In terms of Buddhism, it is very simple. It is not uncommon for infants to make trouble. Therefore, if the family's fortune is declining, first consider a problem, that is, the problem of ancestors and relatives are uneasy, and the problem of wrong relatives and creditors. First, practice the interest method. You can recite the extracurricular lessons, such as the Jizang Sutra, the Jizang Holy Name, the Holy Name of Amitabha Buddha, Zuinshingarni, the Treasure Indrani, the Immovable Buddha's Heart Mantra, etc. For example, read 300 every day. 0 holy names are hidden everywhere, specializing in returning to their own abortion babies, wrongful relatives and creditors, and relatives of all generations to live in the Pure Land. A few days ago, a postdoctoral researcher from Tsinghua University wrote me a long text, describing himself that he had been living in hell for 10 years, full of debt. And the people rebelled and separated. I want to find a wonderful brother to observe. I said there is no need to observe this, because he once killed a lot of fish, had many abortions, and was lewd. His ancestors died, and his father died of drinking medicine. These implicit wronged creditors know themselves, and the observation of Brother Miyashin can only see the information picture of these sentient beings. They must go away, otherwise the transshipment is nonsense. Brother Miyashin thinks that printing pictures and using yellow paper is more effective than simply reciting sutras for ordinary people. Last time, a senior brother was with me. He said that he often suffered from a disease. After reading my article, he drew out the animals he had killed when he was a child, and then recited spells to him, and found that the pain was relieved quickly. The first step is the method of death. If you have not killed anything, but have repeated obstacles, you can also recite the Earth's holy name back to the wronged creditors and clans of all generations. The second step is to increase the method. This is a blessing. First, all kinds of obstacles are dissolved, and then the game can play a role. As an example I have seen before, a person does not get pregnant for a long time, even if he has sought all kinds of methods, but it is ineffective. Later, the psychic saw that a dog spirit they had killed was following. When the divine consciousness was about to reincarnate, the dog spirit scared the divine consciousness away. At this time, if you can practice the rest method, the dog spirit will leave. Then practice the huaifa, and summon a blessed divine consciousness to enter the womb. In the secret method, there is a secret method to remove the unblessed divine consciousness that has been wombed. And then visualize the secret method of summoning the blessed sun into the womb. The method of increasing is more important than the method of gaining wealth and fame. The world not only wants no disaster, but also wants to be rich and blessed. Those who seek blessings can cultivate the essence of blessing, such as the pharmacist Buddha, the Jizang Bodhisattva, and the Guanyin Bodhisattva. In Tantra, there are also 40 second-hand eyes of the Great Compassion, the Bodhisattva, and the 5 void Bodhisattvas. And ordinary people can touch it, and it is very effective. Naturally, they are pharmacists and Jizang Bodhisattvas. After cultivating the Dharma of Buddha and Bodhisattva, you can continue to practice the Dharma of protecting the Dharma of heaven and man. The heavenly law is quickly sensed, because it is easy to respond, and their duty is to help sentient beings satisfy the wishes of the world and reward food. When I read the Sutra of the True Words of God, I found a secret. When Guanyin Bodhisattva talks about the world's Dharma, such as asking for wealth and long-term medicine, he curses the heavenly people through the magic spells of not empty silk, so that the heavenly people can help sentient beings do things in the world. This is very similar to Guanyin Bodhisattva is the king. The king gives orders to the governor to the mayor to the county governor, and the county governor to the township governor. There are 8 immortal dragons, such as the great free heavens, the Brahma, and the emperor Shishans. The frequent appearances are the king of Vishaman, the great auspicious goddess, and the general Bao Xian. And these 3 are all gods of wealth. The method of not empty silk is a big spell, come to spell, summon the god of great wealth to give wealth. It also contains the idea of the view of seeking wealth in the non-empty silk law system. If you don't usually think about it, you can first practice the magic spell of the empty silk rope. And then practice the magic spell of the guardian of the Dharma, which will also have the effect of increasing blessings. If you want wealth, marriage and children, you can do it. It is said that the general can supply all kinds of gold, silver and jewelry, and can also provide their children, boys and girls. However, if you practice, it is recommended to start with the big spell, and then practice the fat scattering general spell. At this point, the idea is very clear. In the secret method, there are a lot of originals, and there are boundless spells. There are more and more readers of my blog and official account, which involves the problem of popular transmission and suitable for the public root machine. Therefore, I often carry forward the Dizang method, Guanyin method, pharmacist method, and Tangmi S. Jutian method. The Qingyas law of the Ming dynasty has not been involved, and some violent protection methods have not been introduced, mainly in terms of safety and effect. A lifetime, a spring of plants and trees. Falling flowers and flowing water, clouds roll and clouds are comfortable. That is all. What the world wants is nothing more than wealth, fame, marriage and longevity. In fact, there is not much real need. The growth of capital and food, and further cultivation of realization, is also happy. In addition to reciting, it is also the way to eliminate karma and increase blessings by offering more three treasures, giving all sentient beings, and going back and forth with joy. I have a lot of experience in learning the heavenly method, but it is not easy to write it down. After all, it is relatively secret. But what I want to say here is that when you practice a dharma, whether it is Guanyin Bodhisattva, Jizang Bodhisattva, or Jianlu Dishenxing mantra, or Daxiang Tianyu mantra, when a certain dharma experience appears, the first time is spiritual, and the second time is easy to be spiritual. In addition, when chanting sutras, in addition to anger, before reciting, when reciting, after reciting, recite with joy and faith, which can make the reward appear faster. The second is to practice and do merit in secret. Remember to do it secretly and in a low-key way. If you have made merit, you will announce it. Yang, the public came to praise, which consumed a lot of blessings. In the laws of the Dharma world, such as the Inda advocated by the ancient Chinese, you have secretly done good things, good deeds, unknown, and even without asking for anything. This merit will exist in the Dharma world and will not disappear. Loss, and it will definitely appear in your reality. When I was in distress before, one day I found that a force would be reflected back to me, and it would soon be transferred. Recently, there is a classmate whose relationship is extremely painful. I taught her that you should take some time every day to pay for the three treasures with joy and do it secretly. You will see hope. There used to be a woman. She told me that her husband had a third child, and then divorced. She was immersed in the shadow and couldn't get out for a long time. Later, she vowed to donate to the temple, hoping that there would be traces of her donation in large and small temples in China. After doing this, she didn't expect that she could come out and let go of those endless sorrows. If you want to get the blessing of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, dragon and heaven, and change your fate, you can often pay for the three treasures, but remember, do it secretly, with joy and confidence. It's like the law of nature. What we give will soon be taken back. Come on, and it's exponential. Lotus Pond. Next, let us talk about the mystery of the application of fate, which is the content of the email sent to me by a reader last month. At the end of last year, I saw an article forwarded by Brother Miaoxin on Brother Duan's blog. How to help his family get through the new year. It feels wonderful and happy. In 2016, there were many people in my family who committed Tai Sui. I did it according to my brother's article. I donned live with my mother, and my mother and brother live in my hometown. My daughter Tiger took the college entrance examination, and I, born in the year of the monkey, were sick and lived safely. My mother is a snake. Since this year, she has been coughing non-stop. Her hometown has been treated in many ways, and she came to Beijing for treatment again. After more than 2 months in many hospitals, she still coughs non-stop. Our brothers and sisters have spent a lot of time and energy, not to mention spending money. What makes us most uncomfortable is, the 76-year-old mother made the long-term cough torment as thin as wood and breath dying. One day, I suddenly thought, did my brother at home have any omissions when he helped my mother send her off? I sent it again in Beijing according to what my senior brother wrote. On the third day, my mother miraculously recovered. I really appreciate and admire my senior brother. I am very envious of the seniors practicing Buddhism. Try to come to your Weibo to study when you have time. Starting from this year, I have my own time. I began to practice the Dizang Sutra according to the method taught by my senior. Since the day before yesterday, my confidence has suddenly increased. I feel that I mainly rely on myself to practice, and self-help can help me. Postscript of King Guangxi. Recently, I have been considering building a group, Qingyang Lanruo, which can be used to support monks, temple construction and Buddhist exchanges. At this stage, it is mainly to support Lanruo Temple. Due to the large number of people and management issues, if you have any suggestions, please leave a message.